The January 6th riot at the Capitol, where crazed Trump supporters broke into the U.S. Capitol, stole things, committed acts of vandalism, acts of domestic terrorism, if we're being perfectly honest here, apparently that didn't sit too well with Republican voters. And new reports show us that since that January 6th siege of the Capitol, hundreds, and I know that may sound small, but it's only been, little over a week, but hundreds of voters from coast to coast have switched their voter registration away from Republican and over to Independent, or in some cases, all the way over to Democrat. To put it another way, yes, Donald Trump's actions in encouraging these individuals and then those individuals going to Capitol Hill as crazed Republicans is in fact turning voters away from the Republican Party. They are switching their voter registrations. Now, when the siege took place, when all of this footage was making the rounds on the news, on social media, everywhere, I had tweeted out that every single Democrat running any kind of campaign for the next 10 years at least needs to show this footage and say, this is what the Republican Party is. This was egged on by the president himself, by his kids, by his allies in Congress. They spoke at the rallies. They defended it. It's so bad, we don't want this. But, they always throw in the but, maybe these people have legitimate... No, there were no legitimate concerns of those people who stormed the Capitol. Those were crazed Republicans that stormed the Capitol. Because at this point, it's not even just fair to say that they're Trump supporters. Trump right now, as of this moment at least, is the Republican Party. The Republican Party, by refusing to remove this man from office, has forever tied themselves to him. I know Mitch McConnell would love to move on from that and kick Trump out of the party and say, look, he doesn't represent us, but it's too late, man. You could have had the Senate remove him. You've had that opportunity twice, not including literally every day when you could have talked to the cabinet and Mike Pence and gotten them to use the 25th Amendment. But if we're just talking about the impeachment trials, you've had two opportunities and you've failed one time. You refused to do it. And then the second time you said, well, we're just going to kick the can down the road. So you have had the opportunity. So right now, it is impossible to separate Trump and Trumpism from the Republican Party. They are, in fact, one and the same. And that's not my opinion. That's what voters across the country are waking up to. That's what they're starting to realize. And that is why they are switching their voter registration. So I will say it again. Any Democrat running for office anytime in the next decade or longer, run that footage from the Capitol siege. Run it in every ad you have. Tie every single Republican opponent to what took place that day. This is them. Those rioters are the Republican Party. And voters are open to changing their registration based on that fact. And if Democrats don't take advantage of this, then at that point they just deserve whatever fate they get. If you can't capitalize on an overwhelming anger that the public has towards the Republican Party, if you can't translate that into electoral success, then by God, you just don't deserve to win.